Hey Andrea, it's Rob and Jess from RHAP. First off, I'm just sorry that Malaina couldn't be here with us.
Yeah, she sends her regards. She definitely would love to have been here. However, she had a death in her family, but she sends all her love and, thank you for all the support thus far.
Yeah, we just want to pass along our thoughts and hope that her and her family are all doing okay.
Yeah.
Andrea, but what an episode that we had this week for you two on your adventures on the ferry. Could you just take us through a little bit what that was like when you had the realization that this was not the right ferry that you had taken?
Yeah. I mean, once we realized it was not the right ferry, we're like, all right, well, let's find the right ferry. And who knew there was more than one ferry? Like, I think there were at least 4 or 5 different ferries. And the frustrating part is, like, the ferry, like the signs, they didn't have the actual names of the ferries. So it wasn't until like we actually got out the car and was asking people, like, is this, you know, ABC ferry? And like, oh no, this is FYG. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the sign doesn't say, it just says ferry, ferry and Cobb. So it was very it was like a blow to the chest once we realized, you're on the wrong ferry. And once we got back and got on the right ferry and came back, that's when I knew, like, oh yeah, we're in dead last. Because once we got to the castle and I opened the clue, there was another clue in the clue box. So at that time, I'm like, oh, we're still in it. Somebody else is just as lost as we are. Of course, they didn't show that. But once we got back and then I looked in the clue box again and it was nothing in there, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we last.
Well, I
Yeah.
really have to commend the way that you really held it together and stayed very positive through this entire ordeal. What do you think? What do you think was it getting on the wrong ferry and not getting the coins was the nail in the coffin, or what do you think was the thing you couldn't come back from?
Well, Jessica, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think is once we got on the ferry and got the wrong coins, because again, like I said, once we got to the castle and we saw that there was still a clue in there, someone else was just as lost as us. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking, like, and of course, hindsight is 2020. But if we would have gotten on the right ferry, got to the castle, because we got to the castle correctly, which is the wrong ferry. So we had to go back on the ferry, get the coins, come back over. So that took time. But if we've gotten on the right ferry, that would have been the game changer, honestly.
And how
Yeah.
did you do at the tasks once you got there?
Well, the task at well, well, by then we were tired. I was angry because we was driving for hours. That was one thing they edited out, like the amount of time that we drove. I think we were driving for at least 4 to 5 hours because we left Frankfurt, I would say around 9:30, 10, and we finally got to Cobb probably like 3, 4 ish. And that's
Mhm.
like there was like a detour that we didn't know about, so it was traffic because of a detour, and then there was a car accident, so traffic was backed up because of that. So all these unexpected things that were also going on as far as and us still trying to get to Cobb was other barriers that we weren't expecting. So just being tired, hangry, and realizing, now I'm back to the castle and the clue that I did see there is no longer there and there's nobody in sight. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Mhm. It was a very fun moment last week when the U-turn happened, and then we saw when you and Malaina were with Annalie, and she's like, "Who did the U-turn against
Right,
me?"
right.
You said, "Well, she could find out when she watches the episode. I'm not gonna tell her." One, why did you decide to go with Steve and Annalie? And two, did you get like a text from Annalie after the episode aired?
So the reason why we did Stephen and Annalie, because again, I think the last 2 or 3 legs, they came in first place. So okay, if you're number one or number two, you automatically have to assume that you have a target on your back. Come on, let's be serious. This is a competition. So either the one or two is going to have a target on their back, and then unfortunately, Robin and Chelsea, they had a target on your backs anyway because of their lack of social play, to say the least. So I mean, our strategy was, okay, if we do Steve and Anna Lee, maybe that will, give us more time to maybe get ahead of the pack or maybe to get into first place. So, and if they get eliminated, oh, well, I'm sorry. However, our gameplay was to make sure that it gave us more time so we can like get in the top 3 versus Steve and Anna Lee, clinching the first place prize.
Yeah, and did you hear anything? Did you get any blowback for that?
Right. No, you know what? She was cool about it because again, now that we're all friends and stuff, like we talk every day. So during the actual show, we're texting in our group chat, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Andrea!" Like, smile emoji, laugh emoji. So she was like, "I can't believe you." It was just all fun and games. It's a competition, so I wouldn't think anyone should take it personally. I mean, during the time when she, when you're in it, I mean, she was grilling everybody like, did you turn me? And I'm like, well, damn, we did the voting in private, so why am I now confessing?
Yeah, it's a secret ballot.
I voted you out. I couldn't understand it when I was watching it. Morgan's like, I didn't turn you, and I had you. I'm like, get
private
the tape. Nope, not me. Nope, me. No, what? Oh. Pan to interview. You want to find out when you watch it on TV.
Yeah. Andrea, we've seen a lot of the teams this week starting to get into like some fights with each other, but you and Malaina did a really good job of staying positive and not arguing with one another. How did you keep things so positive, especially when you face so much adversity this week?
Well, I think it's just a matter of being able to communicate, and not to say the other teams didn't communicate. I just think maybe,
Oh, they were communicating.
Oh yeah. Everybody was communicating, but I just think maybe because us just being, a little bit more seasoned than others, I'm able to, be able to express myself without, just snapping off. Not to say I don't, but I think, if I see that Malaina's being flustered or getting, frustrated, i.e. the fish market, it is not going to help our situation by me getting frustrated as well. I have to find a way to reel her back in to get her to refocus, and vice versa with me. So I think it's just a matter of knowing your teammate and knowing what triggers them and not, hitting those triggers, because it's not going to help both of us at the end of the day.
Well, one of the things I think that you and Malaina did extraordinarily well kind of spoke to that difference in personality between the two of you, because your temperaments are so vastly different. You had kind of balanced each other's strengths and weaknesses so perfectly. So I want to know more about your journey with The Amazing Race. Like, when did the two of you decide this was the thing you were going to do, and what did you do to prepare?
Yes, so I've been watching The Amazing Race since its inception. So I would be considered the super fan. And once I met Malaina in college, I kind of reeled her in like, hey, you need to be watching this with me as well. So then she, started the journey and started to like The Amazing Race. But I've always loved The Amazing Race. My favorite team is the Afghanimals. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Even though like, we're trying to be nice, but they were very cutthroat. But just because their style is different from ours doesn't mean I don't like it. I mean, it's a competition. I don't understand why people don't realize this is a competition for $1 million. So by any means necessary, it might not be my means, but hey, if that's what you want to do. So in college, myself and Malaina, we applied and we didn't hear anything. And then after college, like right after we graduated, they had an open casting call in King of Prussia, I want to say. And we went out to the open casting call, waited hours in line, only, not to hear from anything. We told them, our name, where we're from, why we wanted to be on Amazing Race, didn't hear anything. And then 15 years later, we're in our careers, Malaina has my godson, we're living life. And I'm like, let's just try again. We're out of COVID per se. Let's apply again. And we applied, and lo and behold, January, Malaina received a phone call. So it was, 3 times the charm. And I just feel as though if it's something that you really want, keep on trying. That door might close on you, but who's to say, it won't ever open. So it's always, I'm sorry, it's always, good to, just to keep on pressing through. And that's what we did. It just happened that the third time was the way to go. For us, as far as training, I already like work out 4 times a week. So I figured, I was doing pretty well. At least that's what I thought. But as far as the ways we prepared, with our bags, I would put like 15, 20-pound weights in my bags and to work out with and to build up more stamina. We ordered like these little flashcards with the flags so we can try to memorize flags. We did take manual shift lessons. So we knew how to drive manually, going into Germany, only for them to give us an automatic car.
Mm-hmm.
But
first time ever for that.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm ready. And we get an automatic car.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are some of the things that we did to prepare. But I'm honestly, there's nothing in the world that can prepare you for those challenges, because you just don't know what it is they're going to throw your way.
Andrea, we saw last week you and Malaina, as you were going through India, we heard you both saying a lot like out-of-towners. Could you just tell us, how did you come up with that? And did that help people know what you were going through?
Yeah, well, Malaina came up with it, and it was just, a nice way, is a nicer way to saying like, hey, get out my way. Like, that's pretty rude. So instead of, put it on you, we're going to put the onus on us. Hey, we're from out of town. We know we're running, darting in the middle of the street. Don't hit us because we're from out of town. So it's, it was, something, light and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what we thought. It was, it was a way to alert people that we're coming in, regardless, if they did speak the language or not, at least they saw us. Hey, out of towners,
mm-hmm.
don't hit us. We're coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually like looking on, I went down the social media rabbit hole, and some people were like, oh my God, I can't believe they're saying that. Why are they saying that in a foreign country? I was just like, oh my gosh, like it's just something light. Why are we so serious? Can you grant me some grace, please?
Don't ask Jess that.
Yeah.
Never go down the social media.
The majority of the folks were understood. Like,
yeah.
It was all in fun and just alerting people that, hey, we're here and, please get out our way.
Please.
The please is important.
Yes, exactly.
I loved it. I loved your energy. And
thank you.
My son's gonna be heartbroken. He's 7 and he picked you guys as his winner pick. And he's usually not wrong. So
yeah. Now I'm sad.
Okay. Well, Andrea, thank you for making some time to talk with us here today. You and Malaina were super fun to watch. You represented Philly so well. And, hopefully, we'll keep in touch, okay?
Thank you so much, Rob and Jessica. It was great talking to you guys.
Great to talk to you too. Take care. And again, please, send our best to Malaina.
I will. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.